Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universus Academy podcast. I am your host, John Jennings, and with me, as always, is one of my co-hosts, Mr. Ryan Kraft. He's going to be doing some more behind-the-scenes stuff for today, maybe popping in a little bit if he needs to. Also, we have Matt Childress with us. Matt, how's it going, man?
Doing well. How's it going, guys?
Hey, doing good, man. Just sitting here getting ready to talk about some cards. We have more previews to go over this episode. We're coming in on the home stretch with the previews. Not too many more left to go over.
Yeah, I think there's
Um,
like maybe 10 cards left in the whole set we haven't seen yet. Like it's
yeah,
a low number.
Yeah, 10 plus perhaps any secret rares if there's gonna be some. There were, at
Yeah.
least 2 for the first set. I assume there's gonna be 2 for this one.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
those are pretty well received, so I'd be surprised if they don't do them. But at the same
mhm.
time, they had never done them before, so maybe that's like a set one special,
Okay,
Like
yeah,
could go either way.
yeah. But we also have a little bit of news to go over. So yesterday, Saturday, on, April 2nd, all the, registrations went live for, I believe, 2 provisional events, but also for the first 2 regional licensing exam events.
Mhm.
We had this week we had the pricing announced for the regional exams, and oh, buddy, there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting.
Hmm.
I I feel like I it was a lot to go through, right?
Hmm.
So like do you just want to kind of like start at the top and go through it, I guess?
Yeah. Let's do let's talk about the I guess really the first four because it's like the really big stuff is right. Um.
Right. Well, even just registering, there's 2 different types of registration you
Oh
could
yeah,
do.
go ahead. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
so
did. Full disclosure, I did not register for any of these events, but I know Matt, you did. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. So basically, this is weird. There's like 2 tiers for the regional license exams
hmm.
that you could buy in at. So basically, there's the normal tier, which was like $30, and with that, you get the exam promos, which are a set of promos we're not familiar with yet. And you get it's 1 out of 6 of them distributed randomly, and you get
Hmm.
4 exam promos. So basically, you'll get 4, I guess, packs, which might just have they'll have 1 card in it, or maybe they'll just mail them to you as 1 card. I don't know if that's up in the air, but you'll get 4 of them just for entering. You'll get an alternate art character card. Again, we don't know what these character cards are yet, but you'll get one for sure. Maybe there's like 12 of them. Maybe there's 1 character card.
Hmm.
Mm. And then you're going to get 4 booster packs from the current set. First edition is what it says.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Um, and that was like the $30, right? Well, then for 20 more dollars, you can do what they refer to as the Pro Hero package. And so it's $50 and there are a limited number of them. I want to say it was like maybe 128 or so out of the 500 something people who could register for this event.
Okay.
And that's you get a Pro Hero playmat. We don't know what that artwork looks like or what it's going to be, but you get one.
Yeah.
And then you get 6 of those exam promos instead of just 4. So you get 2 more exam
Okay.
promos. So that's
Nice.
cool. And
Yeah.
then you still get the 4 booster packs from the current first edition, and you still get the alternate art character card. So really, you're paying for those 2 extra promos, and then you're
Mhm.
paying for whatever the playmat is. And it's $20. And considering the fact that most playmats are going to cost you about $20, you're really just paying for the playmat. And you're getting 2 more promos just for funsies, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's really interesting. Because that's something that I've never seen done before. And it's kind of this like setting in new tiers within just even at registering for the tournament, right? So like,
Mhm.
I mean, I was fortunate enough. I was able to be on as soon as they went live. So I did do the Pro Hero package, and I kind of went back and forth. Ryan and I talked about it throughout the week once he pointed out to it that it was a thing, and I was like, I don't know. I want to see this playmat. I don't really love playmats. Like I don't normally buy them,
Mhm.
but I mean, 2 more copies of promos, like, that's hard to argue with?
Yeah.
So I feel like as long as those promos are playable, if they're anything like these provisional promos, you're gonna want the 2 of them, right? And that probably makes up for your $20. So, like, if you're concerned about losing out on it, then you just resell them and get that money back. But yeah, I just thought that was kinda cool and kinda neat, and I'll be interested to see if that's something to do moving forward, like, maybe at regional and higher events, like, maybe Nats will have the same thing. Worlds clearly you qualify for, so like there is no entry fee kind of thing there or whatever. But maybe regional and then Nats every year they do this sort of thing, and that could be kind of cool. Like that's I don't know, it's interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think it's really cool too, because it is, like you said, there's 2 different price points, like 30 and 50. So 30 is already, like, a little bit for, like, an intro to a tournament like this, but, like, with everything you're getting, you're definitely getting your money's worth, right?
Right.
And then so, like, even with the 50, like, yeah, that's like $50, but you're still definitely getting your money's worth, especially if this is, like, it says a Pro Hero playmat. We don't know, like, is it gonna be limited to, like, just season 1 regional licensing exams? Like, is that the only way you can get this playmat? If so,
I
and it's
imagine so.
awesome, yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna be worth your 20 bucks, right? Because that's a collector's item technically that
Mhm.
you could only have gotten at these events.
Right, and these events are like I think they said maybe there's gonna be like 4 of them throughout the year or something. So
Yeah.
you're looking at maybe 500 of these mats total if they sold out all 128 each time, and yeah, like a little over 500, I guess. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, uh, I'm right there with you. Like, I like the idea, but
Mhm.
$50. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I spent a fair amount of money yesterday just registering for tournaments that I'm not going to
Ugh,
play in for like a month. And that
yeah.
felt kind of bad.
Mhm.
But that's just because they did them all in one day, which we've already discussed. I feel like if you stagger that across, a couple weeks or even over the course of a month as it gets closer to those events, it doesn't feel nearly as bad. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the prize support for the event.
Yeah, and it could just be, something they're testing out. Like you said, they haven't really done this before in the past with UVS.
Mhm.
And if it's not really taking that well or no one really does it, then I'm sure they'll kind of reevaluate, be like, I guess this wasn't really worth it. Or maybe we need to add something else to it to make it worth it. I don't
Sure.
know. If I had the time to play in these and the opportunity, I would probably just spend the 50 bucks to get the higher package. Now, granted, I have, that kind of the ability to do that, right? Like I guess not
Right.
everyone has that.
Have the disposable income at the moment.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a tighter budget, that's not really easily to swing, like because $50 is not negligible. I mean, like,
Yeah.
think about it. A box is what, like $80? You're spending 50 on just playing in an event. Like, I agree with your point earlier, talking about like I did not expect the price points to continue to climb higher and higher for these events.
Hmm.
Because I feel like $20 as an entry fee for even a provisional is a substantial entry fee. And that kind of leads us into what the payout is, right?
Hmm.
So do we want to talk about some of the top cuts payouts real quick?
Yeah, sure. One point before we move on to that though is just get some money, you broke bitches, and buy the Pro Hero package, right?
Yeah, if they only sold like 5 of them because it was just me, Ryan, and then a few other people, then we probably won't have it happen again. But
Yeah,
we'll have that playmat. So hey,
exactly. Well, I mean, look at how much everyone wants those Gen Con playmats, right?
That's true. That's true. God, if there's a Gen Con playmats just like with other stuff on them, I'd be so happy because I love those artworks and I don't
I
have any
know.
of those playmats, so it's all good. Um,
uh,
yeah, but
but yeah, yeah. So it breaks it down to it's the top 64. So if you make 64th place or better, you get two more of the exam promos, right?
that's correct.
Hmm.
And
Uh,
then top 32, you
yep.
get 4. And then, booster packs, you get 6 booster packs. So,
Hmm.
I'm willing to wager that the way that'll work, and I'm assuming this is the way it'll work, is that, like, if you make it top 32, that doesn't mean that it's cumulative. So, it's not gonna be like you get the 2 for making top 64, and then you get an additional 4, so you walk away with 6 if you get 32nd.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
willing to wager you're gonna get the 4 if you walk away at 32nd as
Yeah.
opposed to 64, which is
Yeah.
fine. Um, and then top 16?
Oh yeah, top 16. So for something to note for the entry fee, you get first edition, whatever it is. It says for top 32, you get unlimited of the packs, booster packs, which is kind of
Oh, does
interesting.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is random because then when you go to top 16 and
it's
everything
back
else
to
is
first
first edition
edition.
again. Maybe that's
Yeah,
a typo. Sure, that's a typo, right?
I don't know. I
You
mean,
were
it's an incentive
good,
to
but
do
you weren't
better.
that good.
Well,
Here's some unlimited.
it's also just kind of, I guess, interesting because with the first set, we had to wait on unlimited to show up. So if
Mhm.
this is all assuming this is going to be Crimson Rampage is the price support, right?
Right.
Like that's what we're assuming this is going to be.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
my
gotta be a
God,
typo, man. It's
I was
gotta
gonna say,
be.
no. Also, just my God, if Crimson Rampage is somehow not the prize support for these events, whew, it's in a
Oh.
bad spot. But yes, it would just be weird though that they have first edition and unlimited on hand at the same time. But I
Mhm.
don't. Maybe that wouldn't be weird. I honestly don't know how
Seems a
distribution
little
works for card.
strange.
Yeah,
My understanding
and
is that first edition gets printed and then
yeah,
later unlimited gets printed. So, like,
hmm
if it's all here, why don't we have it?
hmm
Maybe this is a clue.
yeah. At any rate, for top 16,
Mhm,
you get a top 16 playmat, so that's cool. I
mhm,
know for the provisionals, it was only first and second got the playmat. So top 16, you get
mhm,
a playmat. You still get 6 of the exam promos, and now you get 12 first edition booster packs.
mhm.
So then we got top 8.
Yeah, top 8, you still get that top 16 playmat. This time you get 8 boosters, or I'm sorry, 8 exam promos, and then you get a booster box. So
Mhm.
top 8 gets a booster box.
Yep. 4th place, you get a Nintendo Switch console, which is cool but random, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I own a Switch. It's a great system, but,
Yeah.
like, why? That's
I don't know.
I guess maybe they struck a deal with Nintendo or somebody, and they just got like a bus full of them. They're like, "Hey, we gotta give some of these away, man." I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, and also just to say, is it like the actual like the full size or the small one? Like, what are we looking at? Is it one of the new ones with the new screen or something?
yeah,
Man, so
and
many
then
questions.
I know, right?
So you get the Switch. It says you
Mhm.
get Pro Hero National entry and a round buy, so that's sweet. So you get free
Mhm.
entries into the tournament, and you get an automatic victory in your first
Which
round.
which at this point, it's safe to assume that's a good 30 plus bucks right there because
Yeah,
it was 30 to play in the regional, so it's gonna be at least that expensive to play in Nats.
yeah, exactly. Is it so if they have the two packages and you get the free entry, is it automatically the most swagged out entry, or do you have to pay the
Ooh.
difference? Ooh, I wonder.
That's
Um,
that's first world winter problems right there, but we might need to know at some point. Well, not yet,
yeah.
but we might need to at some point.
Uh, yeah. Oh, and then you said for third place also you get oh, wait, did we do third place or did we just do
Yeah,
fourth
so for
place?
4th place, you were in middle 4th place, I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
sorry. No,
But
no, you're fine.
you get
So
you get
the
10
playmat.
exam promos at 4th, and then you also
Yeah.
still get 2 booster boxes.
Okay.
So then
Yeah.
3rd, it looks like it's just scaling up
Mhm.
with promos at that point, right? You get 12 promos instead, and you still get 2 booster boxes? And
Yes. So you get two more promos. Yeah.
yeah, and then you get to 2nd and 1st, and this is
Yeah.
where things get even I guess, like, I mean, it's 1st and 2nd, right? It should be bigger.
Yeah.
Um, but what
So for the or I was gonna say the runner up gets a silver bordered alternate art contender card. I don't know what that means or what that is. Obviously, I assume we'll find out here shortly.
it is the longest titled reward. That is what it is. Like, it's very specific, but I don't know what it is either. Like, this could be cool.
Yeah.
Silver border? I don't know. Like, I feel like in other card games when I had alternate borders, that was like a sign of the card not being one you wanted. You know, like when Magic did the white borders and it was like, oh, what are these
Oh
cards?
yeah.
But I don't know.
Uh,
Could be cool.
and along those lines, you also get a contender playmat. So
Yeah.
I guess like a pro hero contender or something.
Yeah, well, that's kinda like what they did for, the provisionals, right? Where they had, like,
Mhm,
the winner and then the contender or whatever.
mhm.
So, like, it's probably similar to that. It might even be the same mat. Who knows? It might just say
Oh,
instead of provisional, it might say
yeah,
regional license exam on it or something.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff, you get 14 promos and you get 3 booster boxes.
Yeah. And then you get the champion.
Mhm.
So, they get the regional license exam champion trophy, so an actual
Ooh.
trophy, I guess, that you're gonna get to, like, flaunt at people. So when you go and you play a Nats, you can just sit that down in front of people and be like, "Your turn."
Mhm.
And then you get, a golden bordered alternate art champion card. You get the victory
Okay.
playmat. You still get your Switch. You get your Pro Hero National, entry with a 2-round buy. So I think it's
Okay.
interesting that I did not realize that other like, basically what is if you make top 4, you get a buy and
Mhm.
entry into nationals. Like, before that, you kinda just alluded to, like, if you win one of these events, you get a buy at the next biggest
Yeah.
event kinda thing. So that's kinda cool to know. Um
Mhm.
Top 16 playmat still, you get 16 exam promo packs, and then you get 4 booster boxes, which
Okay.
is something. So, like, um, one thing I wanna comment on is that, like, I I don't know if I went on the record saying, but I was kinda critical of the provisional rewards when they first came out
Mhm.
because grand total for how much money it costs to play in those tournaments versus historically how much it would cost to play in larger events for universes or previous Jazzco games, the payout did not seem equivalent, right? Like those events were free and or sub $20 kind of entry fee, right? And they gave
Mhm.
out like a pack every round or promos every round or something else like that. Like you walked away with a bunch of stuff. And with the provisionals, it's like, here's your 2 boosters and here's your 2 participation packs. See you later, you know? And even when you won, it was like through 1 through 8th, I think they gave away maybe total like 4 or 5 boxes worth of cards,
Yeah.
across 8 people. Like, I don't know, it just seemed low to me. That is not the case with these regional things. Like, besides the fact they're giving
Mhm.
away 4 switches, like, that's part of it. But, you know, this is a lot more stuff. I mean, walking away with 4 booster boxes or something, I mean, that's a couple $100 right there. So I don't know. What were your thoughts?
I think it's a big upgrade from the provisionals as it should be. This is like a much larger tournament. I think we kind of talked about this some yesterday at our locals. We had a new guy show up and we were kind of talking about the difference between like provisionals and regionals.
Mhm,
And I think it was Ryan who said that provisionals were meant to be more kind of like a local store championship type of event. Maybe not that small, but maybe something similar to that.
mhm,
And it wasn't gonna necessarily they didn't maybe envision it being as big as it ended up being, just because of the way the webcam play took off, and it was
mhm.
like, oh, especially the first provisional, just the desire to get into it. It just kind of
Mhm.
overwhelmed, and they had so many people sign up for it. It's like, oh my god, maybe this is supposed to be a bigger type event.
Right.
And
Could
then
be.
now, yeah, and then now, like we've actually got to like a regional, which is, or well, not a regional licensing exam, which I would think
Yeah.
to be more like an old regional style tournament, like a PT Pro Tour circuit kind of
So
thing.
yeah, so I think regionals are actually like a new tier.
Hmm.
So like I think the provisionals are supposed to basically be like PTCs. Like it got
Oh,
to the
okay,
point where PTCs were happening like twice a month and all. And that's what the equivalent to a provisional is like, as opposed to a premier store event, which is kind of
okay,
a monthly event that they used to do, where it would be like a unique play mat each month or something like that. Because PTCs would have unique promos that they would distribute through them as well.
okay.
And if you won a PTC, you would get a plane ticket and that sort of thing. So similar to getting the buys and that sort of stuff.
I
But
gotcha.
before it was just go to PTC and then jump up to Nats. There was no in between. So
Hmm.
like the fact that having 4 regionals, I believe, is the number. It's kind of like a new tier in between, which is good, but it's definitely
Hmm.
supposed to be a bigger and more intense exam. But yeah,
Yeah, man. What is the prize support gonna be for nationals? My God.
well, entry fees are going to be $50, I guess. Yeah, it's just jumping up maybe 40. I don't know. And then I imagine it'll be pretty hefty because they say there's gonna be an online nationals and in-person nationals and then like a European or something, or am I
There's
thinking of something else?
no, it's similar to that. I don't remember the exact schedule, but there's, I want to say it at least one online nationals. I think there is a in-person US nationals and like
Mhm.
an in general like online nationals type thing.
Okay, so there might be just
Um
2 instead of 3. I don't
I want
remember.
to say there are like four national events because there's
No way. That's a lot of national events.
I don't know. I'm sure we can go back. You can go back and listen to one of our old episodes and it'll tell you,
Yeah.
right?
They'll check the VOD. They'll correct us. I
Yeah.
wanna say it might have been 3. I know there was an
Okay.
in-person. I know there was an online. I think there was a European online also, or an oceanic or something, however they phrased it.
Oceanic or something like
Um,
that. I remember that
yeah.
that one specifically.
Because I remember when they announced it, us talking about, like, could we play in that? Like, is that a thing that we
Uh,
can register for? Are they gonna actually, like,
yeah.
check our address? Like, are they only mailing prize support overseas? Like, how's I don't know. So
Yeah.
and we still don't know the answers to those questions, but, um, either way, there's gonna be more than one national event.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So, if there's it seems safe to assume also there might be exclusive promos to a national level event as well, but I
Mhm.
feel like if that's the case, surely it has to be, like, something that they give you enough of it to be able to play when you leave that event, right? Because
Yeah.
nationals, like, it normally only happens once in your country kinda thing, right? Like, per
Mhm.
year, unlike
Or
some of
it
these provisionals and
yeah.
stuff.
And maybe these are like, I know there's the alternate card for the gold bordered champion card or whatever, but maybe, like, the regional licensing and promos are just alternate art copies of other cards that we've already seen, right?
Could be. Yeah,
Like,
could be.
so that way you're not creating, like, this whole 'nother, like, gated community almost of people who have these cards or have access to these cards.
Right.
Whereas it's like, if it's like an alternate art promo card, like who cares? You can still get the card elsewhere, right? Like if you really want to shell out the cash to whoever's selling it, that's on you. But you don't necessarily have to play in this event to get this specific card.
Yeah, well, and it seems safe to assume that probably these cards will show up as a new points
Hmm.
tier on the loyalty program that we're going to talk about and kind of go over
Hmm.
here that launched this week also.
Yeah,
So that seems safe to assume since everything else has been on there, because they very much so have taken the approach that they want everyone to be able to get these cards. It's just when you get them and in what way may change.
yeah. Speaking of that loyalty shop, it's a nice transition, Matt. Uh, it has gone live last week. They got it in, I believe, with 1 day left on the
That's right.
clock.
That it was going to
They
launch in March. It launched in
They said
March.
March 2022, and it launched
Hmm.
in March 2022.
That's right.
Um, yep. So if you go to the organized play website, it's play.mhacardgame.com. It's one of the little things on there. If after you log in at the top right on the border, you click on shop, and it opens up the little shop. And we've got the plus ultra promos as well as the provisional promos. Now I don't see the playmats on here,
Mm-mm.
um,
I think the
which
playmats are yet to be determined, are they? Like, even in the original post announcing them, they hadn't, like, shown because 'cause they're supposed to be the 2, which are the ones that come in the battle box, but they're actually like a mat instead of paper,
yeah,
and then there was supposed to be a 3rd one that was gonna be like the loyalty playmat, and I don't think that's
okay,
even been shown yet, because it
okay,
wasn't live in that article they posted originally, so maybe that's why. Maybe they're still in
yeah,
production or something.
that would make sense. Um, But
I'm gonna go
I
ahead and
like
say, if you're using your points on play mats, you're doing it wrong. All right, guys, just go ahead. I mean, if you're a collector, more power to you. But man,
Mhm.
you need to get these promos. You need to get these cards in your hand, slam them in your deck, and start stomping on people.
Mhm. Or save your loyalty points for the next set, right?
You could do that too, I guess. But
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, if instead of you're saying instead of getting the playmat, like, maybe you already got all the promos.
oh
I'll
yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
save 'em.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the website, like, obviously you can I think they've even got it set up so you can mail in your packs with the little like, as long as you got the little skull on them, you can mail those in.
Hmm.
They'll eventually add them to your account, and obviously for any games, like, events you play on through the Play website, it'll add your points up, and you can go on and just pick out the cards you want, and
Yep.
they'll mail them to you, I guess.
Yeah, and that includes like any level of play. It's like webcam weeklies if you're playing on webcams. If your local game shop is doing weekly tournaments like we do, you can
Mhm,
run them through the website, and it just calculates that stuff for you and it updates. Um, Again, we've already talked about the website. There are still some hurdles, some janky things we have to do to try to get people like checked in or registered for events sometimes. But
mhm,
they were things we were able to work through. And this site, and I can tell you as the organizer, it's expansive. It's a good website, and it looks really clean. Looks good too. It's pretty easy to navigate. So
mhm,
um, yeah. And to your point, like if you're mailing in your packs, they have to be bound 30 packs, basically in stacks of 30. Um, so they're not going to go through and I think and like probably like try to double check and count them. They're just probably assuming that you're going to do 30 and they're going to know what that looks like or how much it should weigh or something like that.
mhm,
So don't try to skim them, but at the same time, don't just send a Ziploc bag with 1,000 packs in it and be like, "Why didn't I get my points?" Well,
mhm,
you didn't get your points because they ain't got time for that. You want those cards for free for literally nothing. They are paying the
mhm.
shipping as well. Like you're
Yeah.
you're shipping your packs to them. So yeah, I got mine bound and ready, man. That's probably something to take care of tomorrow.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all there's I think to say on the loyalty shop kind of website. It's like it's pretty simple. Like we said, it's really straightforward. You just click on
Hmm.
it, add it to your cart, and check out.
Yep. Works just
Uh,
as easy as it should.
mhm. Moving along into some preview discussion time.
Hmm.
We had about 8 cards this week, I believe. The first card we had was Grape Rush. And Grape Rush is a hilarious picture of Mineta with
It's
Cero's tape over his
yeah.
mouth, right?
Yeah, it's super
Going
tape.
past midnight in the exam, right?
Mhm.
It is an attack. It's a 5/3. It is a +1 mid block. It is a 4 speed mid, 6 damage attack. It has Fury and Stun 1 as the keywords. It's Mineta's card, so it's got Death, Evil, Water. Enhance. If your rival has at least one card in their card pool, draw one card. Then it has a Mineta specific enhance, I should say, not advance. This attack gets +2 damage and gains throw. Only playable if this attack's speed is below printed.
Mhm.
I think this card's hot. It says the magic word on it for me, which is draw one card, so I want to
Mhm.
play it. Um, but yeah, that Mineta enhance is awesome for both Minetas. Like, I mean, giving it +2 and making it throw, so you're guaranteed to do at least 8 or at least 4 in most
Or
situations.
yeah.
And it's only playable if the speed is reduced. Obviously, we know his spam foundation reduces the speed on an attack, so you can do it on your own and hit this pretty
Right.
easily.
Right.
Having your rival have to have a card in their card pool to draw a card is like it is a cost, but it is one that will be easily enough accomplished in Water and Evil currently.
Yeah, I mean, like, so it's you can go about it 2 ways, right? Like,
Mhm,
if you bait them into blocking your first attack, then, that plays pretty well into it, and when you consider he has the foundation that adds speed, basically, if your attack hasn't been blocked, and then
mhm,
also if it's your first attack, so, like, that first attack, you get +2 speed, and so, like, they may not wanna block it, right?
yeah,
So then you're gonna have to use some of your other cards, like, like sticky balls or something to throw things in there. Or maybe, you just use sticky balls as the attack so that they don't block it, it adds one in as well. But yeah, to your point, it
mhm,
shouldn't be too hard. What I'm getting at is that you may have to play this card on a 6. Like, you might not just be able to lead your turn with it in a lot of situations, and that
mhm,
feels bad. Like, playing a 6 difficulty, 8 damage throw, if assuming you're always gonna reduce the damage on it, that
mhm,
draws a card. Like, it's not gonna be bad. Like you said, the block's great on it. It's got the Fury keywords. There's a ton of stuff that triggers off of that, off of Evil and Death also.
mhm.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, I think this card's totally fine. I don't think it's nuts or anything, but
No,
it gives him another tool, to kinda push some damage through because, as is, that's kinda his struggle, right? Like, he kinda he triggers off of if they block his stuff. And now he's like, well, if you're going to block this, I'm going to get even more stuff and you're going to take some damage kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
As a note, Moneta 2 does just make them put stuff in their card pool automatically, so he turns the card
Uh,
on.
oh, he
yeah,
does
yeah, yeah,
himself.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he puts one of their foundations into their card pool, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. And on Moneta 1, if you've already got a card in their card pool, this is now a 10 damage throw. That draws a card, so that's pretty hot too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Let's see. Our next preview card, I believe, was Off Guard Punch.
Yeah. So off guard punch is a 4 difficulty, 3 check, +2 high block or +2 mid block. Sorry, it's a 2 speed high attack that does 5 damage. It's Shinso's attack, so it has all order and void. It is fury and punch for its keywords,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says enhance. If this attack is not blocked, your rival discards a card. And then Shinso enhance. Change the zone of this attack. Your next attack this turn gets +2 damage. Um, yeah, so this card's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a new piece of discard. So basically, kind of creates a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation for your rival. Thing is, this card's super easy to block, so they probably just block it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it interacts with his stuff. Like, again, he names a zone, gives it +2 speed. This naturally changes to that zone. So, like, if you wanted to name low, and this way you can change it down to low, get some extra, speed on it. So it's a 4 low doing 5 on a 4 check. Like, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
That's like meteor shower stats, and it's overstated, so it's not bad. But yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. Like, I can't think of anything glaringly obvious that's like broken about this card or like
Mm-hmm.
OP or anything like that. Like, I think it's solid. If anything, it's slow. So, like, unless you're playing a character who can pump some speed on it, this card's probably just gonna get blocked, which is fine, I guess, if you just want to get a card out of their hand. So
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like they either, like you said, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? Like they don't block it, they take 5, and they discard a card. They do block
mm,
it. Well, you got a card out of their hand anyway, right?
yeah,
Um, uh, I don't know, man. This card's making my all might 3 deck come together, right? It's Fury and Punch. It's got them both.
it's got them both, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So you talking about that speed? There you go. It's your first attack. Put like 2 or 3 speed on it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like it gives all kind of a hard and chop element in that capacity, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like hard and chop kind of does that right now off of good for All Might. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can kind of fill that role. Still does 5 damage.
Yeah.
I feel like if that's the case, I'm not putting speed on this though. I'm just going to put a pile of
Oh,
damage
oh
on it
yeah.
and make them block it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's doing 8 damage. Do you want to block this, or do you just want to take it and discard a card? They're like, I'm going to block it. All right, thanks. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I got to worry about. Do it
Exactly.
again.
Yeah. And like this card's totally fine. Like it's a common, right? Like I'm not
Right.
expecting the world out of a common. It's a totally solid 4 diff attack.
Yep.
And next up we have Evade and Copy, which is Monamos Foundation. It is a 2 difficulty, 5 control check with a +2 mid block. It's got a hilarious picture of Monoma and Bakugo from the License Museum, and Bakugo's freaking out. Monoma's just super cool and chill, just like, oh, go bye Bakugo.
Right. So
Um,
you ain't getting these necklaces. Don't touch the
mm-mm,
chains. Don't touch the
mm-mm.
chain.
It is a taunt foundation. It has his symbols. Obviously, it's got all good in life. It has the static effect. When you attempt to block with this card, return your rival's attack to its printed speed and zone. It's got a Monoma enhance once per turn. This foundation gains all enhanced abilities printed on one non-unique rival foundation. So yeah, I think this foundation's really strong. That static effect on that block is really, really powerful. I did see some people asking about this on Facebook. You cannot use this to block tape swing, for the record, because it is a mid attack, and tape swing says it can only be partially blocked. So it does not work that way. But yeah, that enhance is really cool. Like I think it's gonna be kind of fun. Like it's another thing. Like you're just playing the lottery. You're rolling some dice, scratching your tickets, and like hopefully my opponent plays something really cool, and I can copy this, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts on evade and copy?
I think this card is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, in a lot of situations, it's just a +2 block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you're Monoma, it literally doesn't do anything. So building it's going to feel really bad. So if you're going to run this main in a deck, then you're going to have to be prepared for either holding on to it, or if you can build it, you need to run a character that like either flips it or destroys it or gets some
Yeah.
other mileage out of it, right? Because
Mhm.
it just sits there and it's going to only be tapped to pass checks, and that feels bad. But that static is awesome because thinking about like so many attacks where like they want to crank up the speed on it and then they just want to push the damage through and you're like nah, let's block that on a +2 on a mid, or they want to shift zones around like a Cero kind of thing or something, and then you're like no, let's put this back to where it needs to be and it's back to printed speed, so I block it for half and take a little bit of damage instead of I can't block it at all, right? um,
Mhm.
and, like, that's huge. It's kinda like a baby plus ultra. Ryan and I were talking about this some and, like, kinda, like, arguing the math of it and, like, when it's better, when it's not better, that sort of thing. Um,
Mhm.
and the thing is that keep in mind, plus ultra is only the static always works for everyone,
Yes.
but the enhance only works for set 1 characters.
Mhm.
So, it's gonna quickly, um, not be a 4x in a lot of decks, or it's not gonna even be in a lot of decks because set 2 characters are coming out and people are gonna play those, and then you're gonna have to make some cuts and some tough decisions. Well, this gives set 2 characters on those symbols some options as well. Um, and granted, in that situation, you're running them both just basically as a block, so you can make an argument for or against one or the other. But this is a foundation that can also, again, build down and do stuff. So I like this card a lot. I don't think it's going to be like a 4x in every deck.
Mm-mm.
I don't even know if you'll be able to convince yourself to run 4 of it in decks that can run 4 of it. Like on symbols, like maybe you run like a 1x or a 2, and then you put some in your side, or maybe it's just always in your sideboard and you just bring it in. That could be a thing as well. Like that's kind of what a lot of people were thinking about doing with Monoma anyway. Maybe
Mhm.
this is 5 cards in your sideboard right there. It's Monoma, his foundation, and then some other stuff.
Yeah.
But
Man, just imagine this card with Kirishima trying to play against Kirishima on defense with this card. He just picks it up constantly.
yeah, got him. I did it. I did it. Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. No, no, I agree. If you're gonna play this in a like maybe like a one of in like a non-Monoba deck, it's really got to be a character like All Might 3 who can tap like his commit him in a
Mhm.
foundation, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
you don't feel bad about that at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Um.
You want to tap a foundation that doesn't do anything anyway. So
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
another foundation that doesn't do anything.
Yep. Midnight on all. She has all, I think.
Yeah,
She's
she does.
all Chaos Void. Yeah. So like maybe you run one of it or in her or something. You can
Yeah,
tap it, then you can block have that ability. Yeah.
yeah.
Um. Yeah. It's a good card. Next up is we have hottest performances guaranteed.
All right. So hottest performances guaranteed is Present Mike's Foundation. Excuse me. It's a 2/5
Mhm.
with a +2 high block.
Mhm.
It's Chaos Fire good. It has a Chaos Enhance commit. You discard the top card of both players' deck. Um, also, okay, yes, this has a paragraph of cost, just
Yeah.
for
Oh
the
yeah.
record. So I'm still in the cost, guys. The player who discards the card with the highest difficulty chooses one of the following effects. If the difficulties match, ready this foundation. And then the effects are this attack gets +4 damage, this attack gets -3 speed, or gain 2 health. Um, so I got mixed feelings on this card. One, it's really wordy. Like literally that's a paragraph of just a cost.
Mhm.
It's necessary, and I don't have any suggestions on how you clean that up either. So I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that like that is something about this card. Like when you go to read it, you're like, ooh, this feels like old school cards instead of like more modern cards where they've condensed the text down to where it's pretty straightforward. They've really refined it. That being said, I love this design space. Like, I
Mhm.
really do. Like, I like the idea of the pick your poison kind of cards. It's like, what's their plan in set 1? I think that card's
Mhm.
criminally underplayed, and I think it's a very good card. Um, and I don't know if that'll be true for this card though, because it's like Present Mike, right? Like, it's all kind of RNG based, kind of random stuff. So this could be a fun card, but like, it's gonna feel really bad when you're giving your rivals attack +4 damage. Like you need a way to set this up so that
Yep.
doesn't ever happen. So yeah, I don't know. You like the
Yeah.
present Mike? What you thinking?
I like that +2 high block, right?
Right?
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of ways to really set up the top of your deck, right? Which is, I mean, that's by design. That's an incredibly strong ability to do.
Yeah.
There's only a few cards that really let you peek outside of like Jiro, but Jiro couldn't even use this card, right? She could play it on good,
She
but she
doesn't
can't
have
use.
chaos.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
shouldn't have chaos. Um, so an like without the ability to really like peek at your deck and kind of cheat at this card, it is just a really random effect. Like you said, it's really funny, but it does feel really bad when you do it on your attack and you're like, well, I give it -3 speed, I block this attack. You're like,
Right? Like,
all right,
whoa, my attack just became insignificant.
yeah.
Um,
And so
yeah,
so not you've committed a card to it at that point, and now you've also committed a foundation.
right.
Uh, so it feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, this card is pretty cool. Counterplay against things that maybe want to stack the top of your deck.
Hmm.
So like off of chaos, you could like, oh no, you can't. You can do it off of. So if you're a chaos good character, so pull that list up and see which characters that applies to. Um, you could run sound waves and then stack your deck to then on your next attack use this. But that's assuming you didn't draw off of sound waves because you would rather have +4 damage or gain 2 health. Still
Mm.
seems pretty underwhelming.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I can't think of a
Um,
chaos good character right now either.
let's see. I pulled up. I don't see any that have both
Both?
so
Yeah.
far.
So that line of play is not even actually plausible then.
I believe it is actually 0. So it is present Mike from set 2.
Yeah, you could do chaos air, right? No? No.
This is not a
No,
chaos.
he
He
can't
doesn't
play
have
that
it.
card.
Yeah, it doesn't have air. I agree. Like I think this card
Yeah.
is fun. I'm
I can't
it's
think of any way to do anything with it. Yeah.
it's just another, like you said, it's another RNG card. If you like those effects and you're totally cool with more than likely getting screwed.
Yeah, if you don't care about your attacks, but
Yeah.
if you don't like winning
Yeah.
games, play this
Mhm.
card. It's gonna do random things. You're gonna have a lot of laughs. You can be like, "Remember that time I gave your attack +4 damage and it killed me?
Yeah.
Remember that time that I gave my attack -3 speed and I didn't win the game?" Like, but I gained the shit out of 2 health,
Yeah. I
like
mean,
3 times.
I guess there's certain situations like if you have this out and your opponent's like their attack is definitely going to kill you and you're going to lose the game if you can't block it. So you use this anyway because like I don't care if this deck gets +4 damage because I'm gonna die. I don't care if
Right.
they gain 2 health because I'm gonna die. But if I get -3 speed and I can block it, okay.
Yeah. But see, the thing is it really only nets -2 speed because you had to tap a foundation to do it.
Yeah, well.
So,
Hey, it's okay. We're trying to make a corner case here for this card.
I know, man, it's just tough. Like I said, this card, I mean, and I'll be honest, I think the artwork's okay. Like, it's not bad, but it's
That's
not one of
fine.
my
Yeah.
favorite. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing the cool, like, like, rocking out, but I don't know.
Hmm.
What we got
Um.
next?
Next up, we got a card that has some pretty cool art on it. It's Tetsu Fist.
Tetsu Fist.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
it is oh, no, this is you, right? You were gonna tell us about
you're
Tetsu
already in it, man. Just
Fist?
go. Just go.
All right.
Commit. We
It's a
committing.
5 difficulty, 3 check. Um, and it's a +1 high block, 4 speed mid doing 5 damage. It's Earth, Good, and Void. Powerful 3. That's a big powerful number.
Hmm.
And it's a punch. It says enhance. If you have discarded a card this combat phase, this attack gets +2 speed. Tetsu enhance. Discard a card. Build the top card of your deck. Draw a card. This card's pretty cool. Um,
Hmm.
Works very well with Tetsu. You know, he can pitch a card on command anyway and do stuff that way. Then this also lets him pitch and build and then draw. So you replace that card. So he basically filters. Um, and then it also works off of Void with like Eraserhead. So like if you discard for his ability to give it +2 speed, then
Hmm.
you can give it another +2 speed with Tetsu Fist's ability. So it becomes like a 8 speed doing 5 with PAL 3. Like that's gonna kill some people.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think this card's pretty cool. It's also got punch on it, so you might be able to fit it into the good punch lineup as well.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there's a lot of characters that are gonna at least take a look at this card, right? They're gonna think about it. You're gonna try it out in some decks, try to slot it in.
Dude,
Uh,
True Form All Might. He discards character cards, give +3
oh,
damage, makes it
it's
8
true.
damage,
Mm,
and then he draws a card, and then he gives it another +2 speed, 6 speed doing 8 damage, PAL 3
that's pretty hot.
on a
Uh,
5/3. Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Let's see if you're so also with the Tetsu Enhance. So if you're running Tetsu off of good, you can play or good or Earth, you can play celebrity status, right?
Yep.
So on this enhance, you can celebrity status to take one of your attacks from your momentum and go ahead and just build it face down. And then if you're playing good or Earth, I mean
Well,
you've got
you add it to the top of your deck.
You
Bring
do,
your momentum.
yeah, you add it to the top of your deck, but then you
Yeah.
build it down with Tetsu Fist, right? And then you draw a card. So you then
Oh
take
yeah.
well, my point being that he has access to like hardened jab or stuff like that, where he can pick up cards that are face down. So
Okay.
so
For
you
sure. For
can
sure.
guarantee like you're
Your
building that
next
attack and then
attack
drawing
maybe
it
picks
that.
you up one. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would
It,
just rather find a way
I
to
mean,
like you can't do it on this, but like find a way to put it on top and then just draw it. But yes, I see what you're saying. Like it's
yeah,
another way to make that
yeah.
happen. Um, yeah.
Like, I mean, you can tap the face down and then pick it up or something, so you get a little extra utility out of it.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
again, it's a corner making a corner case for this card.
Oh yeah, but I mean like that to your point, like this on a 5, then hard and jab on a 5, doing what you said with celebrity
Hmm.
status to build down, some other attack from your momentum, a throw of some sort or whatever. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, cool. Hard and jab, pick that up. I needed a 5. I checked a 3, tapped this and something else.
Hmm.
Like that's fine. And then you
Yeah.
build another face down because why wouldn't you?
Hmm.
It's just what those symbols do.
Uh-huh. Next up we have Cavalry Champion Advance. Is another 5 diff attack. It is a 5/3 with a +3 mid block. It is a 3 high for 5. It's got the Midoriya, Ochako, and Tokiyami team from the exam.
Yeah.
You get Dark Shadow out leading the charge there.
It's the
Uh,
cavalry battle portion of the exam.
mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Or
That's why they
sports
named it that.
festival, actually. Sports festival. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's the sports host, not the exam.
Yeah.
It's got 3 keywords. It's got ally, charge, and tech. It's got air, chaos, and life symbols, so an interesting spread there.
Mhm.
It has the static effect. While this card is in your card pool, your other attacks get +1 speed. And hence, your next attack gets +2 damage. If this attack is blocked, your next check to play an attack gets +1.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think this is a solid card. My problem with 5 checks is like obviously I don't want to run like too many of them. So I'm like,
In 5
like,
discs?
yeah, sorry, 5 diffs. Yeah, 5
You
checks.
wanna
No,
run lots of 5 checks. Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to run
Run
lots of 5 checks, especially if attacks at 5 checks.
Ooh, we're not going back to clones. You guys know what I'm talking about. Mm-mm.
I don't, but that sounds awful. Uh,
Oh, man, yeah, I'll tell you another time.
but yeah, I think this is a solid card, especially with someone like the new Tokiyami who can take ally cards and put them directly into your card pool, right?
Mhm.
So you can just like kind of slam this in there, and now all your rest of your attacks are getting +1 speed.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's an interesting card.
Yeah, I don't know about this card, man. Like, it's got a lot of keywords on it, so that's kinda
Hmm.
cool. Um, it buffs your next attack, basically giving it +2 damage and +1 speed. It's like, that's not bad.
Hmm.
Um, and then if it's blocked, then your next one, it basically ignores progressive, right? Because it's giving your next
Hmm.
check +1. Um, so, like, I don't think this card's bad. I just don't know if you're gonna end up wanting to run it over some other 5 diffs. Like, I
Yeah.
think I think 5 diff slots in a lot of decks are very tight, and, um, because really to get a lot of mileage out of that static, you need to be running a deck that can go, 4 attacks deep, right? So you're getting like +4 or +3 speed off of this thing. If you're only
Hmm.
playing 1 attack after this, it feels pretty bad. So given that, the way you build that deck, it's not gonna have a whole lot of 5 diffs in it. Um, and this is a 5 diff. So it's kinda counterintuitive in that capacity,
Hmm.
and it seems like it's kinda battling itself. But there's nothing wrong statistically, like, like you look at the numbers on this card and it's not bad. The worst thing about it is it's got a +3 mid block, like that's a playable block, but barely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure someone has theory crafted and like loves this card and they're gonna show us why it's really good in this particular deck.
Hmm.
And I'll fully acknowledge that that could be a thing. But as is, it doesn't jump out to me of being like, oh, this card is nuts. So
Yeah, so if you're playing a chaos character or something, and you're like, man, I really want to play Dark Shadow Ruin, but I don't have like an easy way to get these other like the effects for the enhance. Like, well, this automatically sets that up, I guess, because it automatically gives your next attack plus damage and plus speed, which would then trigger the other enhance on Dark Shadow Ruin. But that's a
mhm,
lot just for 2 slots for 5 difficulty attacks in a deck. So it's not like that
right.
doesn't seem optimal, right?
And you're running a 5 into a 6,
Yeah.
and, like, if
Um,
that's the case, like, sure, if they block this, then it's a 5 into a 5, right? But
mhm.
unless this attack's killing me, I'd probably just choose not to block it and make you roll the dice.
Yeah,
But
it's like you said. I think it's gonna have a hard spot finding a home. It may be like a one of in decks or something, but yeah,
yeah, maybe you just abuse and, like, pull back that 1 copy kinda thing. Maybe
yeah.
so.
Next up we have Spooky.
Um, Spooky is a 2/5 foundation.
Mhm.
It has awesome artwork of All Might, true form being like, "Ooh," so that's great. It's a +3 high block. It's got all death and void as the symbols, and it's a unique foundation. And it has one ability that says enhance commit. Switch the speed and damage of your rival's attack. This card's a banger. Go ahead and let you know this card is a banger.
Yeah.
Um, you're gonna on those symbols, just assume they are always packing at least one of this, if not two of it in their deck. Maybe more, depending on how badly they want to see it. But being able to switch your rivals speed and damage on attack just messes with their math and sometimes will just keep you alive. And it's for a commit. You have this every turn. Um, think about it, if you're running a deck that can like drop the speed down or drop the damage down, and then you just like switch it accordingly so that way it fits your situation, right? Like whether you wanted to block the attack and not take the bunch of damage that you now just gave the attack, or if you didn't want to block the attack and you just give it a ton of speed and take 4 or 5 damage instead, like for
Mhm.
a commit. Like, yeah, I'm hyped for this card, man.
Yeah, no, it is kinda like a get out of jail free card every turn, right? Uh, they got that one big bag of like, they're sitting, they drop their Recipro Burst, and,
Mhm.
like, then it's kinda like a game of chicken of, like, who blinks first with, like, the spooky or the Recipro Burst, momentum, right?
Right.
The damage enhance. I guess this also makes, any character that maybe is susceptible to, like, getting thrown to death, you're probably gonna love this card, right? Because 'Cause I'll switch throws usually have very low speed,
I'm about to say, you know
generally.
what throws don't have? Speed.
Yeah, so like, I'll gladly just I'll make this a 5 speed for 2 throw instead of a 2 speed, right? Because even
Right?
then, you're still gaining that health even, instead of blocking for half.
Well, and
Um,
then think yeah, yeah. Oh, man,
mhm,
there's just so many cool things you can do with this.
mhm.
Like, oh,
It's, yeah, I think it's a really cool card.
This card's also
Um,
really good against plus ultra. So they like double the speed. You just make, or if they double the damage, you just make that the speed now and make the damage
oh,
baby.
yep.
oh, yeah,
Mhm.
that's really good too.
Yeah, man.
Um,
This card's
yeah,
gonna see a ton of play.
yeah,
And the good news is, like, those symbols, outside of Void kinda need the love, like,
mhm,
Void has a lot of really strong cards already, but, like, All in Death are kinda struggling behind, like, they're not bad, it's just
yeah,
they're not on the level that some of the other symbols are, competitively, so
mhm.
that's exciting to see.
Our last preview of the week, is an attack. It is called Final Exam Gutshot. It is a 4 difficulty, 3 control check. It is a +2 low block. It is a 3 mid for 6. It's got an awesome picture of All Might, obviously gut punching Bakugo, and it's like his fist is like coming. It's like that cartoon thing where the fist is coming through the back of his body.
You can just see Bakugo just trying to not to throw up, like, it's where he's like,
Yeah, it's got all Earth and Evil. It's got Flash, Fury, and Punch. Response: After you play this attack, discard the top 8 cards of your rival's deck. I think this is hilarious.
Yes. That is a great term for this card.
Like, yeah, I don't know. This card's just really funny.
Yeah, I haven't thought of anything nuts to do with this card yet, but man, do I want to. Like,
Mhm.
8 cards is a lot of cards. Um, like, I mean, think about it. If you play 4 of these, you're what, at like 32 cards? So over half their deck probably, because most people are running pretty lean decks now with the mulligan rules.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, like, even if they're running a 60 card deck, that's half their deck. Um, so, like, and it's flash, so you're just saying catch, and they just
Mhm.
mill them. It's like finding a way to pick this up to do it again or to like recur this card. God forbid they go and they don't block this card, let it add to your momentum, and then you're just like, oh, cool. I'm going to celebrity status this to the top. I'm going to pick it up with any number of the card draw abilities there, and I'm going to do it again.
Mhm.
Um, like, oh man, I really do. I don't like mill generally as a
Mhm.
as a game mechanic. I think it's fine if it's a win condition within games, but I just don't like playing those kind of decks. But man, this card just seems nutty. Like 8 is such a huge number.
You
Yeah.
could
No, it's
oh, I'm
Hmm?
sorry. I was gonna say you could play this with in all and play specialized sound waves and like go beyond and just keep recurring it and just
Yeah.
milling people like crazy.
Yeah, just try to mill them out. Yeah, I mean, it's a
Mhm.
flash attack too, so
Yeah.
they just either block it or they don't. So that you might just get there in damage, or you might just get there through milling. Who cares? Either way, you get there.
I guess you could also pull it back with Shoji, right? Because he has all and evil, doesn't he?
That's the
Um,
deck. There you go.
so
Shoji mill deck, let's go!
I mean, you can only do it once a turn, and you're paying 4 life. But yeah, I mean, if you can pull it
Let's
back every turn,
go!
I guess maybe also if you're playing this card and this strategy, is this a go beyond deck?
Why not? Whatever. We're running bad cards. Let's go all in on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
man. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Go beyond, bro. Make it happen.
yeah. Um. Oh man, yeah. Shoji really could do that, right? Like,
hmm
pay 4, pick it up, do it again. Dude, you could do it as an evil deck, and then now you run the Taste for Blood or whatever Toga's new foundation is that gains you 4 life also, and then you
hmm
have still have super regen. This deck might go from meme deck to actual deck pretty quickly. We keep pulling on this thread.
Yeah, no, like, oh man, this card, I think this card's hilarious.
Yeah, look
It's
out.
so good. Yep.
The UA team's gonna find ways to final exam gut shot people to death. Kapow, kapow, kapow.
Oh man, it's gonna be hilarious if we make the first successful mill deck and it has nothing to do with President Mike.
Right? It's actually just Shoji
Yep.
because he can recur this on command. Yep.
hmm
Which I think is actually probably the best way to abuse this card so far.
Yep.
And it's
Well,
evil, which is hilarious because that
oh,
symbol is struggling. So,
yep.
why wouldn't
Yeah,
go into mill? Can't do anything
exactly.
else.
Oh well, a good thing on that note, we're gonna wrap it up here. That's gonna do it for us this week on the Versus Academy podcast. We appreciate everybody stopping by, and have a great week.
See you guys. Have a good one.